Wait. Cheers.
Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of the 1 Point Safety Show with myself, Scott Hartley, and my illustrious co-host, Scouse Andy. How are you, mate? All right?
Yeah, I'm good, man. Excited for tonight, man, even though it's a late one. But yeah.
It is a late one. Well, Friday morning football, shall we say, rather than the Thursday night football.
Yeah, these are the ones UK fans.
It is what it is. It's an absolute killer for us. Thank you to everybody who's already in the chat, Ian and Rod. We appreciate you. Thank you to everyone who's downloaded the pod and listened to it on YouTube. Obviously, it costs you nothing to subscribe. It is completely free. So if you are watching this on YouTube, please go ahead and subscribe if you haven't already.
We've had a few more.
We have had a few more. We've had quite a few numbers, and the highest downloaded podcast we've ever done was last week. So everyone who listens to it on all the podcast capture apps, Spotify, Apple, we really appreciate you doing that and downloading and listening to us. It's nearly our 100th episode, Scouse. I'm sure we'll have something major for that going out, and we are getting there, mate. Slowly but surely, we will get there. We'll start off, as always, mate, with our sponsors. So we are Dunstable Town FC's Talk of the Town podcast sponsor for the season. If you like non-league football and you're into soccer, or as we call it over this side of the pond, go ahead. It's not just about non-league. They do all sorts on their Premier League, Champions League, all sorts of chat. Go across and follow Dunstable Town FC. If you put that in YouTube, you'll find the Talk of the Town podcast. It is hosted by our good friend Mr. Andy Burrows. Also, we are sponsored by Oddballs. You can go across to myoddballs.com. Go across and have a look at all the merchandise they've got on there. 40% off on a lot of stuff at the minute for Christmas. So go ahead. You can buy our underpants and scarves and socks and the like on there. So go and give them a look. And we're also graciously sponsored by Fusion Therapeutics, Scouse. Sometimes when you get tennis elbow or a dodgy knee, or you need, I don't know, an injection, this is the place to go. FusionTherapeutics.co. B-Rob needs to go. Yeah, he needs to go. FusionTherapeutics.co.uk. If you've got a dodgy hamstring like Brian Robinson or Marshawn Lattimore, go and give them a follow. They provide expert musculoskeletal assessments and treatments for the focus on holistic care. They're dedicated to improve your well-being throughout the tailored musculoskeletal health plans. The team offer specialist injection therapy. You don't get that in many places, mate. And they also offer non-medical independent prescribing. So if you're in the Northwest, Manchester or the Cheshire area, give the team a call on 0161 842 0030, or you can book online and the team will be happy to advise you further on this affordable treatment solution. Well, that's it, mate. That's for our sponsor. We're going to get into the shits and bits, as we're going to call it. I haven't seen Pepsi Rookie of the Week this week so far. I'm pretty certain Jaden Daniels has probably got it sewn up again. But no, in all seriousness, let's go through the Steelers game. I think is the first place to start. Obviously, a very, very disappointing 28-27 loss. Looking at the stat sheet here, Russell Wilson was 14 of 28, 195 yards, 3 TDs and 1 interception. And then Jaden Daniels was 17 of 34, 202 yards, no interceptions and no TDs. On the rushing side, this is kind of where we struggled. Austin Eckler was our top carry with 13 for 44. Jalen Warren for them was 14, 66. Najee Harris, 21 of 53. In the receiving side, George Pickens, 5 receptions, 1 TD. Mike Williams, 1 reception, 1 TD. Terry McLaurin was our top receiver with 5 receptions for 113 yards. And then it was Noah Brown with 3 for 33. Fumbles wise, yeah, we'll get into that. Zacchaeus, 2 fumbles, 1 lost, 1 recovered, and Jeremy Chin recovered a fumble from Jalen Warren. On the defensive side, looking at the stat sheet here, we recorded 2 sacks, and they were both from Dante Fowler Jr. What were your thoughts, mate? Obviously, after the tough loss to the Steelers, buddy.
Yeah, it was a little painful. I'm not gonna lie. You know, we, did, we weren't that great at the start. I didn't think. I thought they were the better team at the start, and then we kind of got into the game a little bit more, and then obviously took a 10-point lead. Was it 10-point lead? I think it was 10 points, wasn't it? And then basically we blew it right at the end. But the thing is, I mean, I'm proud of the lads. You know, they worked hard. They played hard. You know, a lot of them are banged up. You know, they are a good side. They're well coached. You can tell they're well coached. No penalties was even. I think it was 5-5, wasn't it? I think on the penalties.
Yeah, 10 flags in total. Yeah,
which is still pretty. You know, it's a low game. I mean, I've seen teams have 10 in one half. You know, I've seen that before. You know, so shows that both teams were playing. You know, quite as in well coached. You know, and you can tell that at least we were in this game all the way to the end. Yes, did we lose this game rather than did they win it? It was yes, we lost the game. We had the lead, and then we blew it at the end. And you know, it was obviously we'll get into details soon. But I mean, I'm proud of the lads. You know, they give every effort, and you know, yeah, could things have been better? Definitely, there was a lot of mistakes, a lot of plays left out there on the field. I just hope that they've got enough time to recover and set those things right for tonight's game.
yeah. I think we'll not labour on the point, but we'll to your point that you just made there. It was mistakes that cost us. I mean, what you can look at it, and everybody's talked about it. The spot for the Zach Ertz, you know, on fourth down, going for it was terrible. It really was awful. But you can't blame the refs for this. We lost this game because of mistakes, because of drop passes from receivers, because of penalties against corners, which I'm pretty certain we'll get into, and then from just overall daft mistakes that you're going to make when you're a beat up side. Do you think the injuries hampered us completely? The loss of Wiley. I know I'm mentioning his name on here, but no, genuinely, in all seriousness, this was a beat up offensive line.
Yeah, I mean, you can definitely see the difference. But I mean, to be fair, because of the way the system was set up, for when Trent Scott was playing, there was a lot of chipping. There was a lot more, obviously, protection from the tight ends over that side. But JJ Watt didn't really do much, really, until right at the end. I think he didn't really get anything going, which is great. However, because of that, Trent Scott looked better than he actually is. And, you know, but the biggest thing, when I look back and watched it again, when Biadish was, like, when the plays that he was out, that was when the offensive line fell apart.
Yeah, when Dieter came in for a few plays there, it just didn't look right, did it?
We got blown up right through the middle, and also Coleman's side. We got blown up load of times, and that was because Biadish wasn't there, and that shows how important he really is to the team. It showed when he was in, and it shows when he's not in. You can tell everybody else drops a level, and that's not good enough. But that shows that he's the glue, you know.
I agree with you, mate, completely. And looking at it, we're going up against what was at the time going into the week, it was the number one offense again in red zone, and that proved. We didn't get a touchdown from a passing touchdown anyway. Obviously, Eckler rushing wise got two, but looking at it, it's like.
Oh, you mean red zone defense? You mean red zone
defense? Yeah, defense. That's what I meant. Sorry, my apologies if I said offense. And then defensively wise,
we were at number one.
Yeah, we were. Defensively wise, Hayward was incredible, but to hold TJ Watt to 0, literally not even on the stat sheet, it shows you that we not sold out to go to his side.
Yeah, the few near misses, and we had the chips. We were chipping them all day. That's the reason why. That's why he didn't. That's the reason why TJ Watt didn't do anything. But that's the reason why Hayward killed us, and the other guy, Highsmith, on the other side, killed us as well. Yeah. So you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't in this game. But that shows how good they are, though. You've got to really plan for a disruptive guy like TJ Watt, and you did a good job against him. You did very well against him. However, that left up the one-on-ones on the other side and through the middle, and those guys, their guys are better than our guys. You know what I mean? And that's all it is. That's all it was. When it came down to it, they did more better plays than we did, and that's why we lost.
Yeah, time of possession was key as well. We didn't win the time of possession stats as well, and then we'll get into. I'm not going to bleat on people. I mean, some of the over criticism on Twitter is just it's not
that's by a
real.
point to a good team. Do you know what I mean? Like,
Exactly.
come on.
Look, we can all argue. We can all argue the toss and say, this is wrong, that's wrong, and this was why we lost it. I mean, poor Johnny Newton. I get it. I was fuming like directly after the game.
We all were.
I was, I was live streaming it. We were in the live
Genuine
stream as well with
rookie
Jesse,
mistake.
and it is. That's it. You got hard counted by what is a probable Hall of Fame quarterback against a rookie. The only thing they could have done in that situation was draw the hard count realistically. But he didn't think that. He wanted to make a play and he moved forward and he jumped offside. Look, it's going to happen. You could see he was absolutely gutted about it as well. And these things happen over time, and he'll learn from that, and hopefully come back stronger.
He'll be a man possessed tonight, mate. He'll be a man possessed. Trust me.
So we need to talk really, not necessarily about Marshawn Lattimore, who is still out for this game, but this up and coming game. But we'll get into that a little bit later. I think the Marshawn Lattimore trade was more so. We've got this guy further down the line, and we've got him for the next couple of seasons beyond. So I'm not that worried about it personally myself. But in this game in particular, we have to talk about the back end. We have to talk about the safeties. We have to talk about the corners, especially the corners. I don't want to bag on Benjamin St-Juste, but sitting 10 yards. We've said it. We've said it ad nauseum. Sitting 10 yards off a receiver, you're just not going to win. You're not going to win in there. The moon ball went up. And I mean, John Taman said it, and I was the same. I actually thought Russell Wilson was throwing that ball away. I genuinely thought he was throwing it away. And then for Mike Williams to come down, it's like, hang on a minute. What? And when you watch it back, St-Juste was nowhere. Like, nowhere to be seen. I mean, what are your thoughts on that? Other than that, I thought he had a decent enough game.
See, this is the problem. We've mentioned it many times. This is the problem with St. Ghost. It's a problem. It's like you can't rely on him. He can be good for 80%, 90% of a game. Then all of a sudden, when they want the crucial down, like we mentioned many times,
you
go after him, and what's he do? He gives either a PI, a holding penalty, or he gives up a touchdown. That's exactly what he does. And he played to form. He played to what we describe him as. This is what he is. He's not going to get any better. This is what he is, unfortunately. He's good in spurts, and that's why he'll be enabled backup. He'll be enabled like CB3. I mean, that's good, that's fine. But not as a CB1. But, you know what I mean? And the thing is, as well, is that you see it. You see it all the time. And I was there going, okay, so if St-Juste is playing 10 yards off the guy, obviously he's playing zone. But it's like, why the fuck did you just get in the way? In that situation, that's exactly what you want St-Juste to do, is to actually foul somebody. Because the guy's beating them. Fucking take him out. Because they needed a touchdown, and he was on the 10-yard line at that point. So even an actual pass interference call, it still leaves them on our 10-yard line, and they've got like 2 minutes left. And we have been good at stopping people on the goal lines. So that's the time to fucking do your perfect thing, which is a PI. That's the perfect thing for him to do. And what's he do? He stands there like an absolute idiot and gets blown. And it's like, it's so frustrating because like that's the perfect time to do what you always do, which is give a foul away. And he didn't do it. It's fucking pissed me off.
I can see from the passion. If you're not watching this on YouTube, please go back and watch it because Scouse has just done a bit of a Scousey sizzle. Passion. The passion is there, mate.
Here's my sizzle, and even though we don't officially put it down as a sizzle, but 100%, man. I mean, it's just so frustrating because I'd say sometimes he looks good, but then he just gets burned on that crucial fourth down or that crucial third down. He gives it away and it costs us games. It costs us games.
Well, you said it before, and I think Jesse said it as well on the Bleeding Burgundy, and I think I've said it as well ad nauseum. It's when you were looking for a play, it's where's 25. That is exactly what you're looking at. Is who have we got that's our best receiver? Let's put him on 25 and let's make a play because you guarantee to get something out of it. And it is unfortunate. I mean, I'm not. Like I say, I don't want to bag on him because the social media outbursts were ridiculous. Like some of them, I'm just like,
I think they're angry, aren't
really?
they? But that's the
You need
problem with
to.
fans. They
I
can't
get
do
that, but you need
nothing,
to.
you know
You
what I
need
mean?
to give you. Sometimes you need to give your head a wobble. We lost to a decent team by a point. And in all honesty, yes, we could have won it. We're 10 points up with 3 or 4 minutes to go in the game. It's like you should see that out. You should
And as
really
you
see that
mentioned,
out.
you mentioned as well that they had most of the ball as well. So our defense was
Correct.
tiring. Our defense
Yeah,
was
yeah.
tiring. And,
Look,
and you
look
saw it. You
at
saw it in the fourth quarter. You saw it.
and exactly what you said. I remember you were texting away to me, and you said, "This is how it's going to go. We're going to sit in here and we're going to play Rigo. It's going to be Rigo ball now for the whole of this fourth quarter. Now they're going to take 8 minutes off the clock. They're going to drive it down, score a touchdown, and give us absolutely no time left." And you were exactly right, spot on to the T. That's twice now. You've also said, kneel on the one. It's like Scouse's takes. Do you know what I mean? It's just, yeah, no, but yeah, hot take Scouse. Fred, if you're watching, you need a new job, lad. But no, it's one of them where you were absolutely spot on with what you were saying there and the assessment of how it all went. I'm not gonna. We lose a close game. You can't win every game every season. It is one of those. It's not just St. Juice though. Rod, you're absolutely right. We also need to look at the drops. Every receiver had drops. Brown, I don't know what Diami Brown was doing, that like weird ball where he was trying to say, "I've got to throw this back." Was he trying to throw it? Was it a screen? I don't know what. They need to throw that play out the playbook. It was ridiculous. And then
our players don't seem to be smart enough to do these real fancy trick plays. Just
no,
leave it alone.
But look at our receivers and our tight ends. Zach Ertz drop. Noah Brown gets an amazing catch on the sideline, which was a little bit overthrown quite high up. You think, yeah, great. But when we need you, there's a ball right into the middle of your hands and you drop it. Luke McCaffrey dropped a ball, bang in between the numbers. Terry McLaurin, amazing catch on the sideline. An amazing rundown where you're thinking, go on, son, you can just finish this off. You get caught. Not your fault you get caught. We scored anyway, so it didn't really make a difference. But you dropped a pass. How many drop balls were we having? Zach Ertz, I thought he actually corralled that ball.
Must at least five. Must have been at least five drops.
It was just one of them frustrating games where you looked at it and said, right, okay. I also, not questioning Jaden, but this was probably his worst game that he had for us so far.
It was his worst game. I admit it was, and you can see he definitely not seeing some of the looks and
correct,
that they were doing to him. But don't forget though, Pittsburgh are a master of dealing with quarterbacks like him. They're a master at it. Why? Because they play Lamar twice a year. Lamar, and as we all know, okay, he's not Lamar, but he's very similar in style. No, very similar. I think Jane's a better passer. You might call Lamar a better runner, whatever. Okay, fine. But the thing is, they're very similar. And Pittsburgh know the game plan for them, and they always do well against them. They always do well. So they know what to do. So coming into this game, their defense plan was perfect, really, being honest. We didn't see Jaden running at all because he stopped it. Patrick Queen was just nullified that straight away.
And let's be honest, he is awesome. He is awesome.
I wanted him before they signed, but obviously, whatever. It is what it is. But it's like one of them. They've got a great. Their defense is stacked. It really is stacked throughout. We didn't even mention their linebackers and say Patrick Queen. You know what I mean? And there's three other guys that have top draw. I can't remember top of my head now, but like really high level players. You know what I mean? They're not just like bums and just defensive line's good. It's like it's really really good. So it's just very very difficult to take on those teams regularly, as in be consistent. Like I mentioned before, the week previewing this game is we're going to see a lot of 3 and outs, and we did. We saw a lot of 3 and outs because Jane's never seen anything like them before. He will get better against these teams, and the thing is, as well, is that his stats might only look at 50% clip, but it's because of 5 drops. That would have been around 65%, which would have been an okay game. You know what I mean? So, his numbers were down because of poor fucking drops.
But at the same time,
even though St. Ghost cost us the game at the end, throughout the game, the drops for me, the drops cost us more than that St. Juice.
Absolutely agree with you. Absolutely agree with you. And I mean, Aled's got a point here. He's saying if we think he's terrible, as in St. Juice, and Forbes can't get in, that's saying something. Yeah, I agree with you, Aled. And you asked there saying why are the coaches keeping him in it every week? Well, only one we've got. Only one we've got. And apart from Lattimore, who's obviously got a hamstring, so it's tough because we haven't addressed this position. We have addressed this position now by bringing Lattimore in. Now, we discussed it last week. We're going to have probably about circa 120 million next year going into... I don't want to hear about next year, but I am trying to look ahead a bit here and think we're going to have probably the second or third highest cap space in the entire league with about 120 million to spend, possibly on a playoff team, possibly. In a team where we have a young quarterback, a good energy around the team, a good coaching staff, a good GM, a place where you read Adam Schefter's tweets where Adam Schefter is saying people are wanting to come here. It's now a destination where players are wanting to be traded to and to come to in the off-season. So we can sort this. We knew Rome wasn't built in a day. I'm trying to be as pragmatic as I can here around this and think to myself, well, we couldn't solve everything. And what he has done, Dan Quinn, is him and Adam Peters have come up with an amazing free agency by bringing in older veteran heads like Bobby Wagner, Ertz, Eckler, players who people didn't want to really take a chance on because they maybe thought they were over the hill or they're done, they're washed, and clearly they're not. I mean, look at Jeremy Chin. Look at Dante Fowler Jr. He's on a trajectory to have his best season ever. He is having his best season ever if you go through the statistics of where we are at the minute. 8.5 sacks for the year. Yes, it's going to cost big money. It is. But he came because he trusts Dan Quinn. He knows Dan Quinn from Atlanta. He knows Dan Quinn from Dallas. This is where he wants to be. People like Jeremy Chin, who was, he was runner-up in Rookie of the Year to Chase Young, when it was unanimous that Chase Young was going to go there. But he still got votes. Now I look at Jeremy Chin and he was an animal. He was an absolute animal
Chin's
against the Steelers.
Player. He always has been.
He's a great player.
Now, obviously for us, he's been good. He's been touch wood. He's been okay for us this year. But his major issue over his past 4 years has been injuries. But as a player, no one's ever knocked him for being a player because he's a quality player. So.
And I think that you can't solve everything. Well. It is. Well, it's going to be expensive, unfortunately. But we're going to, once you sort out the contract of the people who we just signed this year on 1 year deals, you're still probably going to have 70 mil to spend if you do it right. I do. I do. If you structure it right, yes, I think you can because a lot of it can go in signing bonuses. Parsons next year, Rod. That would be nice. Why not?
Imagine having Parsons and Fowler on the edges.
Ooh, yeah, I'd be and Dorrance Armstrong as well. Yeah,
but he'd still be there. He's still got a contract. Yeah, so he'd still be there in the rotation. I mean, that'd be nice.
I'd be happy with that. I'd be very happy with that.
He'd be expensive as well, man. He'd be like 20.
Oh, it would be. And this is the thing. It's an exciting time to be a fan. Now, was I disappointed? Of course was disappointed with this by losing by a single point. I was fuming. I was throwing things around my house at the end of it. I was effing and blinding, as you can imagine. It upsets your entire week. It really does. And you think to yourself, God, I'm so invested in this team, man. And then I look back and I think to myself pragmatically now when it gets to a Thursday, it wasn't actually that bad. And we've played a very good side who are probably going to be a playoff team, realistically. And this is what we've got to go up against. Would you honestly think to yourself last year or the year before, any time under Ron, that some of the wins we've had when you said Cardinals away, Bengals away on, a Monday Night Football, that we'd even be competing with these teams or Steelers? Yes, we lost. We still put up 27 points.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
We mentioned this before, right at the beginning of the season. As long as we're competitive, we can handle losing. And yesterday, last week's game was case in point. We were competitive. Yes, we should have won it. We lost that game. However, that shows though that we're like really competing against the top teams, which is going to be great. Going ahead into this playoffs because I think if we. It'd be an absolute disaster the second half of the season if we don't get at least 10 wins. At least. You know what I mean? So, only 3 wins away from that. You know what I mean?
I know.
I mean, I just think it'd be a disaster if we couldn't get 10. I mean, from where we're at now, maybe a disaster. But I think, I think we'll be fine. Barring injuries, we need to get healthier. We need that for sure. Got a lot of injuries, people are banged up. But if they can get themselves healthy, I think we have a good chance. Like deep into January.
I agree. Michael Underwood's put a comment in the chat. He says we need corner depth next season.
Oh,
Yeah,
100%.
Michael, we've just been talking about that, and I completely agree with you 100%. St. Juice will be gone. Davis will be gone. Noah I's been playing okay. Forbes is probably gone. Yeah, we need massive help on the corner. I wouldn't be surprised if we draft a corner quite high, if not with the first round pick, and that that realistically Lattimore's on one side, and then we pick up a couple of veterans who can do the job in free agency. So that's probably how we're going to fix that hole, because right now that's standing out like a sore thumb. Corner is standing out like a sore thumb to me. Doesn't feel like, even with the injuries we've had, even with trying to replace people like Chase and Montez, it doesn't feel like we're that worried about any other area. Maybe offensive line, which we can get into because of injuries. But apart from that, it's seemingly steady. We've had a top 5 offensive line all season. Biadish has been amazing. Wiley, got to give him his flowers. Yep, I know he's still not your favourite guy in the world, but he's been playing out of his mind. Coleman looks like he is the answer at left tackle. Big Luke's on his way back. Both the guards have been playing high level, so you can't deny that they're in. And Trent Scott did a job when he came in, so we have to think about where else are we lacking in this team. Maybe a receiver that's going to be an out-and-out wide receiver 2, if not wide receiver 1B. But we do need O-line depth. You're right, Brian. We really do, because that is hurting us as well, especially when you look at what we got. And Michael's right again, saying we have 120 million cap next season with free agents. Yeah, we just discussed that again. It is one of them. It's going to be costly to re-sign some of these players,
and that's the problem. The better we play this year, and certain players play, the more money they're going to earn. And then
of course they are, absolutely.
And how much money they're going to want. Now, I'm hoping as well, like I mentioned last week, that we get the Patriots discount. That everyone thinks that we've got a chance to actually really do something, and good players will take a little bit of a discount to come and play for us, which makes it even better for us, because again, we get better players for the same amount of cap. So I'm just hoping that we can do something like that, and I don't see reason why not. Like if players desperately want to come here, then they will take not take the piss, but they will take a lesser contract than they probably could get somewhere else. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I agree with that. I just think this game as a whole, when we draw into a closure with this game, I think this game hurt us a lot more, and it probably might do when we get towards the end of the season, because Philly obviously are now top of the NFC East. We're going into the game against Philly today, and it's one of them where you go, well, okay, we're now behind the 8 ball, and we've been the top for pretty much the whole season. So, as you said, it's family business, isn't it, tonight? So, how does it? Well, you're right, but how does it work? That having that loss against the Steelers probably means that you're looking on the out in, because everyone's saying, oh well, Philly's schedule's a lot easier, a lot harder as we go down. Nothing's given in the NFL, and I'm looking at them teams they're playing and thinking to myself, I can't even see them losing a game. I really can't. The Rams couldn't put offense up at all last week. They were terrible. And then who else have they got? The Ravens? Yeah, they're probably going to lose to the Ravens. Great. That's it.
Right. We need to minimum split with the Eagles at the very least.
Exactly right, Scouse. And I think we could do that. I think we could do that, definitely.
Yeah, man. We lead into this game, I think losing last week will actually light a fire up our ass. I really do.
I hope so.
Yes, don't get me wrong, they also had a game, the same day as us. I know they had they
were late, weren't they?
Half their team after half time, they kind of rested their players a little bit. But I mean, I'm just thinking they've got so many weapons. It's very difficult for us to actually stop them. If you stop the run, then they're going to beat you with the pass. Yes, people say, well, if you get in what's his name, the quarterback's face, he's inaccurate. Well, most quarterbacks are inaccurate if you get in his face. Do you know what I mean? So that rule doesn't change for anybody. That's something that's a given every week. You got to get pressure on the quarterback. That's always something you've got to do. Otherwise they'll burn you. Every quarterback does. So
Agreed. Well, that was a seamless transition, that Scouse. Absolutely seamless, straight into the Philadelphia Eagles match. So tonight at 01:15 hours, Friday morning football for us, or Thursday night if you are over in the US. We are playing away to the Philadelphia Eagles at the Link. I'll go through their leaders in statistics this season so far. So Jalen Hurts has 1,976 passing yards. Their top rusher has 991 by the name of Saquon Barkley. Rushing yards, it's AJ Brown with 553. Zach Bourne has 87 tackles, who is a linebacker. He's been outstanding for them this year. And CJ Gardner-Johnson is the interceptions leader. Going into Hurts' stats, he has 12 TDs against 5 interceptions and 26 sacks. And then Barkley is at 6 TDs and 1 fumble, averaging yards per game 110 yards. Hurts also has 10 rushing TDs, which is
all
just
from the 1 yard line.
Madness. Yeah, I know. I get that.
You know what I mean?
It's the tush push stuff.
I hate that rule, man. I hate that rule.
I do too. I think they need to outlaw it. Looking at the TDs for the receivers, AJ Brown has 3 TDs. And Devontae Smith has 4. Dallas Scott has got 1 this year as a tight end, and Saquon himself has 2 receiving touchdowns. On the defensive side of the ball, looking at their sack leader is Jalen Carter with 3.5, and total sacks for the season they are on 25, so nowhere near as many as we are. Actually, believe it or not. But statistically, again, this is the best defense in the NFL right now over the last 5 weeks. I don't know what Vic Fangio's done over the last 5 weeks, because they were hurt in the beginning of the season. They were not doing very well at all. But it seems like they had their early bye, and then they turned it on since then. As Rattlehood said here, Eagles have won 5 straight, all against nobodies. We'll find out if they are for real. You can say that they've won against nobodies, but we're exactly the same. You can only go against what you can go against on the stat sheet. Because I have no beard at the moment, my wife's just walked in and gave me a ball of fluff and said, "Put that on your chin." Thanks for that. I know, yeah, it's ridiculous. But yeah, looking at this, Scouse, it's one of them where you go, well, I get it. They haven't won against anyone special, but look at our record as well and tell me who has been special that we've beat. We've all beat the same teams. Pretty much beat Cincinnati, common opponent. New York, common opponent. The only difference being is we've gone against the Ravens and the Steelers and we've lost to them too. They lost to Tampa Bay as well, so that's by the by. Yeah, you're right in what you're saying there, Rattlehead. This is a time where we'll find out if we are a pretender or if we are for real. And I think that's genuinely what's going to happen tonight. We will go up there to Philly with that awful crowd and them dickhead fans. And yeah, I'm going to say it, dickhead fans. I don't like Philly fans at all. I can't stand them. In all honesty, if there's a team that I dislike in the NFC East, it isn't Dallas for me. It's these lot. I can't stand them. I really can't. They've just got a weird entitlement that just does my head in. But yeah, man, what are your thoughts going into the game, Scouts? What do you think for tonight / tomorrow morning?
I mean, it's going to be a tough game. It always is. I mean, the thing is that we tend to do well against them, especially in their own in Philly's stadium. So, or even Howe give these guys fits last year. So these things. It's a difficult one because if I'm going off my kind of heart, then obviously I'm going to say we're going to win. It's going to be a tight game. We know that really, but when you think about it with your head, that's the problem. It's kind of like, well, they're just better. They're just better players than us, and they're playing at a high level at the moment. Like if we got these when they were playing like shit, I'd be saying, oh yeah.
Easy. Yeah, exactly.
14, all those type of things. But these guys are, I said, they're probably the most informed team of everybody.
Yeah, and we just discussed it before, Scouts.
The guys, they've got a good side, man, and the coach
They
now,
have.
now they're being coached well by not by Sirianni, but by the two coordinators.
Yeah, and we said it before. Rome weren't built in a day, and unfortunately, we have holes that are exposed on this team,
I mean, we'll be
and
exposed.
they
AJ
they
Brown,
don't they
AJ
don't have
Brown's
that.
gonna kill fucking St. Ghost tonight. He's gonna kill even Sanderstrill, even though I love Sanderstrill. He's gonna get killed. He's gonna get beasted off the ball, that's what AJ Brown does. That's why when we bought Lattimore, that was my thing. I was thinking,
I know.
who am I worried? Who am I gonna be? I don't have to worry about that receiver anymore. And it was AJ Brown once I realised Lattimore was coming, but obviously he's not playing tonight. But AJ Brown killed us every time. So, it's gonna be very difficult. Even if you somehow stopped him, then you got Saquon. He's playing at an all-pro level. It's insane how well he's playing at the moment. And if you can't stop him, then you got the shitty tush push bollocks that's going on.
Yeah.
It's just like fuck's sake. Like he can hit you from so many different angles. That's the problem. Like if you're looking at the other way around, you think, okay, I'm Philly's head coach or whatever. You're thinking, okay, who's our players you got to worry about? Well, you got to worry about Dante Fowler. You've got to worry about Terry McLaurin, and the quarterback. That's basically it. That's all you got to worry about. The guys are like, these guys are they're okay, but our guys can handle it, no worries. You know what I mean? Only those three, in my book.
So what are your keys to winning this game? Because for me, I think Michael's probably spot on here by saying you got to keep Hurts in the pocket and not make him use his legs. Do you sell out the run in the hope that you stop the big pass like we have done in the past, or do you double down on Barkley and say, well, we have to stop Barkley because and let you beat us with the pass? I mean, what are your thoughts on it?
I mean, obviously, the biggest weakness of Jalen Hurts is his passing. Mm-hmm. It is by far. He's a good runner, a good vision, and obviously their run game is insane with Barkley there. So it's kind of like, well, okay, for me, yeah, let's stop the actual run if we can, and then hope that we can stop the passes in like the actual receivers can actually stop the ball getting to the corners and can stop the ball to get into the receivers. That's the only thing I can think of because Jalen Hurts, his arm is inaccurate. If you put him under even just a little bit of strain, he will throw. He'll underthrow it or overthrow it.
Safety help's key tonight as well. Safety help is absolutely key over the top of the corners there. Jesse's saying you're mad at the truth because the tush push because they're so good at it. Nothing's wrong with the play.
It's virtually an unstoppable play. It's just like shit, man. It's a shit play. It really is.
Yeah, Hurts does hold the ball, Rod. You're right. He holds the ball so someone's got to get to him. Yeah, I think you're right, and it's about pressure up the middle as well. Is can we bounce and muster this offensive line that they have, which Jordan Mailata's not been activated by what I've seen so far. Don't think they're going to play him tonight, and
so he was activated, but he's not going to play.
Yeah, sorry, he's activated, but he's not playing. That's correct. If it was a Sunday, I think it'd be a no-brainer. He'd probably be playing, but as it's a Thursday night with no practice behind him, he's not going to play. So you've got a backup left tackle there on Dante Fowler's side. So we need to get really up the middle.
And the thing is, that Jalen Hurts, he loves to run to the right anyway. Like when you see him running, when he rolls out, it's always to the right. Now I get it because he's right-handed. As a quarterback, it tends to be more favourable. They kind of feel more comfortable when they're rolling out to the right. And you'll see that a lot. You'll see him roll out a lot to the right hand side. So this is what Armstrong's got to set the edge and make sure that he can't get around it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Keep him in that backfield with pressure. But,
would you keep a spy on him, kind of similar to what Queen did to us in? I mean,
if you're playing it, if you're going to stack the box to try and stop Barkley, then I don't think you need to. Do you know what I mean? I don't think you need to put the spy on because you've already got players there who are looking. You know what I mean? You haven't got to change the system. If that makes sense, you've still got them. You've still got the players there to do that role. But yeah, man. I mean, suppose you have to a certain extent. But I say if you're playing 8 in the box, and you're gonna have a guy spying him anyway. So.
James, you're right, mate. Lowy, you say shout out to Lowy, real massive Commanders fan from the UK. He said should be in bed, lads. Yeah, we're going as soon as the pod's over. Don't worry about that. I'm definitely going to get my head down for at least 3 hours. It's going to be a very late one. So yeah, it's one of them. Jesse said he heard that Jordan Mailata was playing tonight. Everything I've heard from Keim and from others today so far has said that he isn't playing. So yeah, it'll be interesting. It'll be interesting. We've got to play zone and not all man. Yeah, agreed, Michael. I just think that we need some help across the top here. For safeties need to be busy with the corners. I'm not saying let's just play a too high set. But at the same time, you've got to stop Barkley. That is the biggest thing. That's the biggest key to victory tonight, is to stop Barkley and to get in Jalen Hurts' face. I think we can score points against this team. I think offensively, I think we can score points. I think the receivers will be hurting, and I think that this is how it's going to go. You know, the receivers will be hurting. They'll be wanting to make good on what they did against the Steelers, knowing that they dropped the ball. So I think offensively, I think we'll be okay. But it's especially with Brian Robinson, if he is going to play back in the lineup, that takes away a thought from the defense, because when he's not been playing, it's no disrespect to Eckler or McNichol, but or C-Rod, it's just not been the same. You know, you can see there's that lack of punch there, that bruising back that goes running downhill. It's just not there. They're all built for different things. Now, Eckler had a brilliant game last week, so I'm not bagging on him at all, but it isn't the same when Brian Robinson isn't in this team. So, and it's amazing how much of an impact player he has actually become for us. I mean, what are your thoughts on B-Rob coming back in, Scouts?
Oh, it's huge. It really is huge. You know, the best way to beat these type of teams who've got high-powered offenses and also got a solid defense, to be honest. But the best way is to keep the offense off the field. Okay, so to do that, we run the ball. So having our best back available is definitely a big plus for us, you know. And he hasn't got a designation injury either, so he's not even like carrying the injury. So they're saying that he's actually 100%. That's what they're kind of saying, without saying it.
Well, I think everybody's banged up, aren't they, at this point? And we've got a few questions on this a little bit further on, but I'll get into the injury report now. Looking at it for this is only up until Wednesday, obviously with the game being tonight. So Nick Ballore is out with a knee injury. The only others who are out is Marshawn Lattimore, who did not practice all week with a hamstring, and Austin Seibert, the kicker, is also out with his hip injury. Tyler Biadish, centre, has ribs, thumb, and foot, and he's been limited, and then was full practice on Wednesday. Brandon Coleman with his shoulder is limited. Cleveland Farrell was on a rest day on Wednesday, but he was limited practice on Monday and Tuesday. Dante Fowler with a groin, he's been full practice all week. Noah I, thumb, full practice all week. Cornelius Lucas with his ankles been limited all week. Jordan McGee with an elbow has been full practice all week, and Brian Robinson has been limited, and then full practice with a hamstring. And Andrew Wiley, last one on the injury report, shoulder, is limited, and full practice. So, looking at that,
so we've got some players back, which is definitely going to be useful for tonight for sure. It was a smart thing to keep Wiley out of the game last week, purely because if he was a true game time decision, which it was, then if he played, he'd probably re-aggravate that in the first couple of plays, maybe the first couple of drives, and then he's out, and he's definitely out for tonight. To see what I mean? Well, now he's actually full practice, ready to go, and when we need him most. So
yeah,
it's going to be a
they're
difficult
very. It is. They're very healthy as well. Nakobe Dean, who's been a standout linebacker for them, he came on. He's got a groin. He did not practice on Monday, limited Tuesday, full Wednesday. Dallas Goedert with an ankle, didn't practice Monday, limited, then full. Darius Slay Exactly the same. Didn't practice, limited full with an
You
ankle.
see that? I saw that. It went right over on his ankle.
Oh, I know. It did look nasty. Devontae Smith with a hamstring did not practice, limited and limited.
Yeah. So that'd be nice if he's limited
Yeah.
in the game. So um,
Bryce Huff had a wrist, but full practiced all week, and Jordan Mailata hamstring was a full practice all week as well. So maybe he will start, Jesse. You might be correct on that. I'm not 100% certain. The RPO looks better with B-Rob. Agreed. Yeah, agree with you, Michael. Completely agree with you. And that's been something that we've missed as well. I mean, 5 yards for Jaden total last week in rushing. When B-Rob is in the game, you have to respect that we're going to run the ball, which creates an outside lane for Jaden to, when the chaos and the pocket's breaking down, he can get outside. Whereas the Steelers didn't
especially with the
offer
RPO,
that
like
at all. They offered us nothing.
The RPO.
Yeah.
So yeah, definitely, because you can hand it off to B-Rob. He can go himself. Do you know what I mean? Like so, yeah. So definitely, he's definitely right with that. We just need we need a lot of B-Rob. We need to do what we did last year. We need to keep the ball, run the ball, take 7-8 minute drives every single time, get points, get ahead of the scoreboard. Stop so fucking Barkley doesn't get the ball because it's too far back. They have to throw the ball, and then Barkley's only out being used as a receiver out at the backfield. That's what we really want. We don't want him averaging 110 yards against us. But we've had this problem all year. We haven't been able to stop anybody on the run.
We haven't. You're right. You're absolutely right.
The only time we stopped anybody is when the other team's down by 2 scores or more, and it's like, we've got to throw the ball. They've abandoned the run game. When they haven't, they've been able to run on us no matter who it is. Connor was killing us for a while for Arizona until we got too far ahead. Then he never got the ball, which is obvious. I think last week
Steelers, yeah,
they did enough. They did enough against us, and then the week before that as well.
Tracy, he killed us in the first half. Yeah,
it's happening a lot, man. And obviously, they haven't mentioned Derrick Henry. They'll be stacked 8 in the box, and he's still got over 120 yards.
I think he does that to every team, though, Scouts. Let's be honest, and that's why trying to stop Saquon Barkley is going to be very difficult because he does that to every team. Exactly.
He's that kind of level of running back. So it's man. It's going to be very difficult to stop. I mean, I never really wish injuries on players, but if he just tweaks his hamstring or just tweaks his ankles, just so he can't play for today, I'll be happy with that. Or he gets hurt in the first quarter, I'll be great. I'll be very happy with that.
Right, we'll get into our fan questions, mate, if that's all right with you. The first one we've got is from Tim Towner. He sent this to me on Monday, so shout out to Tim getting the early questions in. He said, question for the pod. 10 weeks into the season now, and we have a handful of players on 1-year deals. This is kind of to our point earlier, who have no guaranteed dollars next year. Are you buying or selling from this list? Who do you think will earn a second year? And we'll just go yes or no. Bobby Wagner.
Yes, if he wants to stay.
Yes, if he wants to stay, absolutely. And then we've got Armstrong. I thought he was on a 2-year deal.
Yeah, he's a 2-year deal.
I'll have to look at that, yeah. Chin.
Yes.
Mariota?
No.
Cleveland Farrell?
Yes.
Austin Eckler?
Yes.
Ooh. Fowler Jr.?
Yes. Again, when the prices are right here, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Cornelius Lucas?
No.
Ertz?
No.
And Dieter?
No.
Ooh, okay. So he says, a bit off topic here, he says, looking back at the 24 draft, reorder the six first-round quarterbacks now that you've seen them play after 10 weeks. Ooh, tough one. Now I'm just going to try and Google just to make sure I've got all my eggs in one basket.
Eckler's on a 2-year deal, guys. So obviously,
I thought Eckler was on a 2-year deal. Yeah,
he was at the Garden Park, isn't he?
Is Mariota on a 2-year deal as well? I'm not sure.
No, he's a 1-year deal, wasn't he? 8 mil.
He's a 1-year. Yeah, 8 mil. You're right. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Looking at the QBs, how would in the draft from 2024? How would you reorder the quarterbacks in the draft? I mean, it's quite straightforward, isn't it? Number 1 overall pick. Number 1 is Jaden Daniels, without shadow of a doubt. No question. That's an easy one.
What's he looking for? The top 5 quarterbacks
No, I said all the six quarterbacks. Now we've seen them all play.
in the first round. He's in the boat here.
Yeah, in the
Or
first round. Yeah,
Okay.
in the first round. Now we've seen them all play. How would we rank them? Obviously, I think we've got to do 2 ineligibles here because we haven't seen Penix Jr. and we haven't seen JJ McCarthy, so we can't comment on them 2. So that's 3 down. But we're all in agreement that Jaden is 1. So that then leaves us another 3, which is Bo Nix. Who else is there? Caleb Williams, obviously, and Drake May. So how would you slice them ones up? Who would you say is QB2?
To be fair, I think Bo Nix is QB2.
Yeah, I do too, mate. Yeah, I don't disagree with you.
I mean, the first few weeks he was horrible. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah,
but
absolutely
then he's got
awful.
a lot better, man. And now he's looking like a real quarterback. He's given. I mean, you give Mahomes fits last week. I know they lost. From a bloody blocked field goal.
Blocked field goal. Just lose Kansas City, man. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, and would you have thought Denver would have got enough on them to beat them? I wouldn't have before the game.
No way.
And yet they're that close. So, Nick's is getting better every time. And Payne's doing well with him for sure. So I think he's number 2. And then
Caleb, I'd say Caleb 3.
You got to go Caleb 3 because he's playing games. And May, he's only really started to get a couple of games more last few weeks. So
he has,
he's got to be ranked 4th. You know what I mean? So
and the others, obviously, the others
we haven't played, as you mentioned.
Yeah, we can't even look at. So, but yeah, Defo Jaden 1. Then you're right, probably Bo Nix 2 for me as well. Caleb 3, and then Drake May 4. That's kind of where I'm going with that one too. But great questions, Tim. Appreciate you popping
It's
them
gone,
in.
mate. It's going to be gone. We're going to get a better tight end.
We've got one in Ben Sinnott, but we can.
Oh yeah, if he's ready to step up, like.
Okay, Paul Fiander Turner, who is at Having a Radox on X, great guy, always in our chat and always submits questions. So thank you so much for doing this again. If you're listening to the pod or if you are watching it again on YouTube, we appreciate you normally in our chat. Shame you couldn't be with us tonight, but we understand why. You're probably in bed getting ready for this game. He says 9-4 or 8-5 is a fantastic place to be going into a late bye week. Who are the 3 most important players that you need to see out of these next 3 games, injury free, with that and playoffs in mind?
Well,
so who are the 3 most important players over the next 3 weeks?
I think that's reasonably easy to do. I think Jaden, B-Rob, Terry.
For me, it's Jaden, B-Rob, and Biadish. And we have to keep Biadish at centre. He is such a calming influence in the middle of that.
It's a good shout.
Middle of that there.
Good shout with Biadish. I mean, I just think if you've got no Terry, you've got no receivers.
I get you.
I think about it that way. If he's out the game, like who's going to step to that number 1 receiver spot? No one's going to do it. So, Noah Brown, nah.
Yeah, but you can scheme stuff up. You can put Eckler in more ways in the running game, in the passing game. You can scheme up more tight ends.
That's going to be short passing stuff. I'm talking like deep ball stuff. De'Ami Brown, okay, yeah, but look at him. No, look at that pass that went right through his hands. No, in the end zone with like 30 yards of space. See, I mean, like you can't rely on these dudes. That's the problem, man. So it was only truly Terry you can truly rely on, and even then he drops a couple as well. So.
Next question from Paul. He says, why are some fans saying tonight is make or break for a playoff run?
Well, I wouldn't say it's make or break for playoffs, but it's make or break for the division.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Because as you mentioned before, both teams have been like, you've played nobody, you've played bad teams, and you're very similar records, etc., and all the rest of it. And this is the true test in division. Let's face it. We played the Giants twice. They're awful. Even us playing bad, we still beat them. That's how bad they are. So
we didn't even score a touchdown the first game when we were there in week 2.
Yeah. So these things are crazy. But so when you look at this game, is it make or break for playoffs? No. If we lose, we're still only a game behind them or game and a half behind them. But. And you never know, we could catch that up maybe if they lose to a Baltimore, like I think they will, and we can get that split if we can beat them next time around if we lose tonight. I don't think it's over by any means. But for mentioned about playoffs. Oh no, we're still in the great shout for playoffs even if we lose tonight. So I'm not
Wild
worried.
card. I think wild card spots wise will be fine as well, even if it has to be a
Yeah, I
wild
mean,
card.
I
But
think we're ranked at
what?
6 at the moment.
Yeah.
We didn't
What's a
come
little? Yeah,
down.
exactly. What's disappointing, mate, is to drop from second and
Yeah,
potentially, if we beat the Steelers, go into first. Because yeah, the Lions won luckily, but who'd have thought that with 5 interceptions from Goff? But
well, that's how
even
good we are,
so,
though, isn't it? You can have 5 interceptions.
I know, it's crazy.
You
And
know,
and, and I was saying to Jesse the other day, when you watch that back and you watch Dan Campbell in the locker room, whoever it was, I can't remember his name. He got two turnovers, 2 picks. And he come up and he was like, "Yeah, 2 picks, Dan Campbell." And then he's going, "Yeah, I got 2 picks." And obviously he was getting a game ball. And as he was getting a game ball, he's seen Jared Goff shout across the locker room, and he's seen him, and he just had his 5 fingers up like that, and he went, "I got 5." I was like, "Go on, son, I like it. At least you can take the piss out of yourself when you're still
yeah,
winning,
yeah.
you suppose." But yeah, man, that's just crazy. And I mean, we could have had the number 1 seed at the moment in as it stands. We dropped from 2 to 6, so yeah, it's difficult. But I
I
don't
mean,
think
think
it's
about it, though.
shit or bust now. But
If
yeah.
things actually just stayed the way they were now, we would get at Atlanta in the first round of the playoffs.
We'd be at Atlanta.
Yeah, I wouldn't be scared of that.
No,
I'm
no.
not. I'm not scared of Atlanta. I mean, they've got some good players. Don't get me wrong, but I'm not scared of them. The real team I'm scared of is say the Lions. I think if the Niners hit form, I'll be a bit worried about them going to San Francisco and playing them. I'll be a bit worried. But
Yeah.
besides that, I wouldn't be really worried about playing anybody in the playoffs in the NFC side. So even Minnesota haven't been that good recently. Minnesota like a few weeks ago, you think, oh, the hell don't want to play them at their gaff. But I think I'm not even
Darnold's
worried about them at the
Darnold's
moment.
starting a Darnold, isn't he?
Exactly, yeah. But that's the difference, isn't it? Between top quarterbacks, like true quarterback ones, and realistically a quarterback two. Is that
Yeah.
quarterback two plays, you might play well for so long, 5-6 weeks, you go, bloody hell, this guy's different. No, still the same dude. He will mess up at some point because that's the whole point. You don't stay consistent. That's the problem with the quarterback two. That's why they're meant to be on the bench, and coming for relief once in a while, and still got decent enough quarterback, but not great, but good enough to maybe nick you a win here or there, or you see what I mean? That's what a quarterback two is meant to be for, more than anything else. So when you see a Sam Darnold who lit it up for like the first 6 weeks there,
Yeah, and he did.
he did, fair play to him, but then he's getting worse. People are getting onto him again. They're seeing how, his tendencies, that they're reading him again. See what I mean? And now he's looking bad. He's looking like a normal quarterback two again. But he's looking like so. Yeah, man. It's I wouldn't be worried of playing them. I know they've got JJ over there, but I wouldn't be too worried.
Another question from Mr. Richard Cameron on X. He says, bye weeks. Does having a late bye put us in a disadvantage against the Eagles, who had their bye on week 5? Should all teams have the same bye week, say week 9, just to keep things even? Or do you think staggered bye weeks add a bit of drama to the league fixture list? What are your thoughts?
I agree. I agree with the latter part there. I think
Having staggered bye weeks.
You should be staggered. It's staggered for sure. I mean, I suppose what you could do if you really wanted to, you could go, well, half the NFL goes on week 9, and then the other half go on week 10, or something like that. So you could. So because obviously they don't want to have no week with no games at all during the season.
Yeah, I understand. Yeah, that's
so I could see something like that happen. But is this detrimental to us having such a late bye? Not this year, I'd say. The late bye is great for teams who are obviously banged up, but also looking for the playoff spot, who are genuinely in the race for a playoff spot. If you're out of it, if you're like the Giants and you've got a week 14 bye, well then what's the fucking point in that?
Yeah, exactly.
What's the point for them?
And that was always us. That was always us, wasn't it?
In the last 2-3 years, we've been week
14.
14.
We've been week 14. Yeah,
which is insane, by the way. But the only I think this time it will actually be a benefit for us rather than a hindrance like it has been the last 2 years.
Is that just because you think that because you're so beat up at that point that you get an extra? We're getting a mini bye now, which is great because we're coming off and we're having like a little bit more rest time, which is brilliant. but also at the same time, she's got 10 days off now, but also at the same time having that full bye time later on in the season, as you say, if you're looking towards the playoffs, you can get fresh to get ready for the latter end of the season and going into the playoffs. Because it always ends up as that. It's what that one team, it's normally a wild card team who do really, really well because they just got hot towards the end of the season. Tampa Bay Buccaneers, for example, last year.
I always think of the Giants when they went all the way and won it.
Yeah, absolutely right.
They won 6 in a row to make it, and they finished 6th seed and won the whole lot and beat an undefeated team in the Super Bowl. If you can get hot at the right time, perfect for the playoffs. You know what I mean? It really is. When they're all locked in. And I think that's the key. So now you can go from week 14, you can say, okay, then week 14, we've got 4 games left or whatever it is before any playoff games. This is our little stack now, and you can really focus in, really kind of mentally really focus and get really detailed and get locked in, as I mentioned before. And I think it could be the perfect thing for us. I really do think it could be a true benefit for us this time round.
I hope so, mate. Next question then from the Podfather.
Yes, he just loves to argue, doesn't he? He just loves to argue, doesn't he?
Yeah, I know. I get where he's coming from. It's probably because we've had a late bye week for so long. Podfather, who is at the Burgundy Zone. If you haven't subscribed to the Burgundy Zone, go and watch the GOATs of the podcast world. Go and give them a watch. Mike and other Mike over there with Kyle. Good guys, family, basically, to us, top blokes. Can't say enough about them. He says, should we be putting a spy on Hurts or Barkley in the passing game?
I mean, I think we kind of touched over it before.
We sort of covered that already, but at the same time, yes, I do think we should do that. I think we should spy Hurts this game in a Patrick Queen type way. As he did well and efficiently against us.
Have we got a linebacker good enough to do that though?
Frankie Louvu?
You think Frankie Louvu is good enough to be a true spy and not rush the passer really?
Yeah.
See what I mean? Because he's more of a pass rushing guy. So it's kind of like, and Bobby can't do it because he's not good in coverage at all. So, trying to make him run after a quarterback. You know what I mean? It's a bit of a tough one for him. So
Jesse's got a good point here, saying it leaves cornerbacks on an island if you spy. Especially, I do get you.
But the thing is, though, what would you got to pick your poison here? You can't cover every single thing all the time.
No, impossible.
When you've got a team this loaded on offense, they've got a Hurts you can run. They've got the tush push crap. So short yardage shit is a nightmare for us. It's going to be a nightmare for us. We're bad against the run anyway. They've got a great running back. They've got good receivers, and we've got poor corners. Let's face it. It's a bad mismatch for us. Really, you look throughout this game. It's a mismatch throughout. Near the whole lot in skill positions.
It's going to be tough. It's going to be very tough
game, man. Tough game. So for me, I'd say try to let. Try and stop them running the ball. Just try and stop both of them, Hurts and Saquon, and say go on, then try and beat us. And hope to God that your receivers can actually do something one-on-one with their receivers. Which is obviously going to be difficult. But, yeah.
Agree with that. John Tamer from
It's going to be difficult either way. You know what I mean? So,
you're not wrong. John Tamer from the Bleeding Burgundy, he says, which receiver with bad drops last week redeems themselves this week with a touchdown?
I think Zach Ertz going back to his old stomping ground.
Ooh, nice. I like it. I'm going to go Noah Brown. I think Noah Brown gets a tutty today. Obviously, he is the number one wide receiver for pass interference calls. He gets the most pass interference calls out of the entire league. So stop holding him. It's clear and obvious to see that people are holding him. But he's been a pretty good signing since we've got him in.
I think he spelled that wrong, but that's still funnier. Nothing Brown.
Nothing Brown. Maybe that's what you call him, Rod. Nothing Brown. Yeah, I get that.
He's nothing. He's nobody.
He's nothing. He's a nobody. Yeah, absolutely that. Final question then is from the Bleeding Burgundy in a bunker, which is at Jesse24, who is in our chat with us today. He says, are we facing Philly at a bad time? What will be the reason for tonight's loss? And what order do you rank the top 7 NFC teams? Ooh.
Are we playing them at a bad time? Yes, I think we are. I think that they're on a roll. The fact that the last 5 games they've been great. Really have been really good. Well, I'm saying we're banged up to shit. Let's face it. We are. We're
Yeah.
banged up, man. We are. Offensive line's in bits at the moment. All banged up. So and Jaden's still struggling with his ribs a little bit, even though he's not showing it, but he
Yeah.
probably is. So yeah, man, I think we're playing definitely at a bad time.
Yeah, and on the 7 then, and we'll go through them at the moment. So we've got Lions at 1, Eagles at 2, Falcons at 3. We've got the Cardinals at 4, Vikings 5, Commanders 6, and the Packers at the 7th seed. So I think it gets a bit dicey between 3, 4, 5. Between the Eagles,
Man, Arizona, man, they're doing well, man. Since
that's what I mean. Arizona, I would put Arizona above the Falcons for me, on both on a 6-4 record, both first in the division. But I think the Cardinals are a better team at the moment than the Falcons. Young Wei Koo missing three field goals.
Yeah, he's costing them points at the moment, though.
Yeah,
but
crazy.
But there's times when he hits 60-yarders to win games.
Exactly.
It's mad that Koo.
I think the Packers overall are probably a better side than the Vikings. Defensively, probably not. I think defensively, the Vikings are amazing. Flores over there is doing an amazing job, but the Packers with Love, who if you imagine Jordan Love was 100% fit, which I still don't think he is 100% fit. They're a danger, mate. They are a real danger. Are we better than our 6th place? Yes, I think we are overall this season, especially with who we've played. I think potentially we could be the 3 seed, as good as at the moment. Are we better than Philly? Probably not.
We'll find out.
We'll find out tonight. Yeah. Are we better than the Lions? Absolutely not. So, I mean, looking at that 6, that the other teams in that playoff picture at the moment. I don't think there's anybody on there that's better than we are.
There's a few teams that I think are better than us, but obviously I think there's
Niners need to come on. You're right, Jesse. He's saying Tampa Bay as well.
I still say Niners are better than us. I mean, they've got better players. They're just injured. You know what I mean? So like they've been banged up as well. So
his lineup here, we'll put it on the screen, is Lions, Philly, Niners, Washington, Packers, Cardinals, and Tampa.
Again,
I don't really disagree with you. I don't really disagree with you there, but
Tampa's one of them. There no wide receivers left. You know what I mean? They're all injured. So.
But neither's 49ers. Do you know what I mean? They are struggling like mad at the moment. Ayuk out.
Up, so.
And Ricky Pearsall's doing well, so it is one of them. And I've got to also, before we go, mate, I've got to also congratulate you on fantasy this week in beating me.
Yes,
I will eat my crow with an 8-1. My 8-1 record now turns to an 8-2. Thank you, Scouse. Your record now goes to 2 wins on the season, I believe, or are you at 3?
3 wins.
You're at 3. Who did you beat then? So you beat Max, you beat me, and who? Toothpick on the bye week. Of course, you beat Toothpick. Yeah, I mean that guy hasn't put his team in. Yeah, it is a bye week, but
he only had 1 guy missing from his team against me.
Really?
Yeah, against you, like 3 guys.
I think Taman played him last week and he had 5 players on the bye. I was like, okay, whatever. But yeah, congratulations on beating me last week in fantasy. Could not believe that. Brees Hall did nothing, and that A-Chain couldn't get me 7 points. I was like, really? More than 2. 2 had a decent game, to be fair.
I mean, his points weren't that good to us. When you look at it.
But I left a lot of points on the bench, but I'm not making excuses. Well, I kind of am, but who cares? Well done to you anyway. I'll eat crow. And also, another one, happy birthday for yesterday, my friend. I've got to say happy birthday, mate, and have a good birthday weekend. I hope it's topped off tonight, and we get that dub for you for your birthday. Also, Jesse's birthday week, so shout out to him as well. Hope we get the dub for you too. And that's about it, mate. We're gonna have to get out of here because it's getting later on in the evening. It's just after 9 o'clock here, and yeah, man, we've got a game coming up at 1:15 in the morning. So it's time to get your head down, Scouse, get an early night, and get yourself up for this. Get yourself up for this game. Rod's got a great point here, saying none of the other teams will want to play us in the playoffs. Agreed. Couldn't agree more. Thank you to everybody who is subscribing, and thank you to everybody who likes the video, comments on it, and thanks to all those who download the pod as well. We've reached our 100 goal, so we're now going to strive for 500. That's the next key. Why not go big? Go big or go home, as they say. So yeah, if you don't subscribe, we noticed that when we watch this, that 75% of our watches are from people who don't subscribe to the pod. Please go out. It costs you nothing. Subscribe to the pod on YouTube. You can find it at 1 Point Safety Show. It's very easy to find. You'll find our logo there. Go ahead and subscribe. Be a bro. Go and do that. You know what I mean. And if your dog wants to subscribe, that's absolutely fine too. If your nan wants to subscribe, it's absolutely fine too. Don't even have to watch the videos. Just subscribe for us. It keeps the algorithm going and it keeps us moving. And we would do this for nothing, as I said before, if it was just me and you, Scouse, chatting rubbish. But we appreciate. We do. But we appreciate everybody in the chat. We've had a few new ones in here, so appreciate Brian for being with us as always. Rod, you're always with us. Jesse, you're always with us. We appreciate you being on here. Appreciate James Lowe popping in. Michael Underwood also with us. Rattlehead being with us. Aled in with us.
Michael's new.
Michael Underwood, yeah. Tops. Thanks for being with us. Rattlehead for being with us. Appreciate you as well. Aled, shout out to you as well for being with us. And Ian, your brother, shout out, always on here as well. So I appreciate you also being with us, mate. So can't thank you all enough. The community we built up here, Scouts, is unbelievable. That's really what it's about. It's about interacting with fans and interacting with everybody on the pod. So we appreciate you as always. And if you can't listen live, you can always catch it back on YouTube, come across. And if you download the pod, again, we thank you for doing that. Our highest downloads ever last week. So yeah, can't thank everybody enough for letting us achieve that. Score predictions, mate. Didn't do it before we go. Just forgot about it there. So probably going to lose. What are you saying?
I think we lose. I think we lose by 7. I think we lose 31-24.
Yeah, I'm not far off you. I'm going to say 30-27 is where I was at yesterday, and I don't think that changed. I think we lose by a field goal, but yeah, it is what it is, mate. We'll see.
Let's hope to be wrong.
Hope to be wrong. It's all you can do. Hope to be wrong. All right, everybody. Thanks for being with us, and we will catch you same time next week, 3 p.m. Eastern on Thursday, 8 p.m. GMT. Raise hell, everybody, and we'll see you next week.
Bye.